Ugandan, and for East Africans, of course, everyone has this. They know me in different ways. Some say I'm Kenyan, some say I'm Ugandan, some say I'm Tanzanian, but I am Ugandan. However, I like to tell people that I'm an East African kid. I belong to East Africa. So if you throw me in Kenya, I'll be like, hell yeah, I'm here. They think I'm a Luo. Throw me in Tanzania, I'm there, and I feel home. Uganda is my home. That's where I was born, and but I grew up partly in Tanzania. I was raised in Tanzania when I was a little kid. That's how I got to understand how to learn Swahili. And there are two different cultures, of course. Here, when you look into our countries, we have so many tribes in each country, so many tribes, and each tribe has its own way, how they bring up people, how you're raised, you're in this district, but as soon as you cross, let's say from here to Turku, and you find there is a different tribe, and how they raise up their kids is very different from, you here in Helsinki. The language they speak is very different. However, we have one language, maybe, which is uniform to everyone. Like in Uganda, we have Luganda. It's for us, the Bagandas from the central, and that's where the capital is, Kampala. Basically, anyone who comes from any region, they need to learn, or they have to learn Luganda. But of course, we have Swahili, which is a regional language that is East Africa. Everyone is now trying to learn Swahili. It's the language which is spoken in Tanzania, Kenya. That's where they speak it mainly. And Uganda used to be like, if you're in the army, you speak Swahili. If you're a thief, you used to speak Swahili. It was a language for the thieves. So me being young and speaking Swahili, everyone's like looking at you. Your parents, they speak Swahili, then they're like, are they like soldiers or what are they? But anyway, we have different cultures, and it's our culture is so rich. I would say Africa is so rich when it comes to the culture part of it. And when you're raised in a certain way with some culture aspects, some things that tie you, that ground you to understand who you really are. I think for me it's a very good thing. I don't say that everyone is raised to be a nice person like me. I know. I always tell my mama, thank you so much. Culture plays a big part, in a way how you're gonna treat the person who's with you. How you respect them. That is you're treating, of course, yeah. How you respect them, how you you deal with people, There are places whereby, you don't give a damn about anybody, just do you and then leave. But we are people who care. That is one of the most important things that we have in our culture as Africans. We care. Our elders, we respect them more. It is a good thing, a very, very good thing, but also it has its downsides. Because you, as a kid, you're not supposed to reply anything to your elder. When they say do this, you have to do it. Do that, you do it. No questions asked. I was brought up in a family whereby you're free to ask things. We're very strict. My dad was very strict. Very, very strict. My mom, on the other side, she's strict, but also she would allow conversation. You talk. She gets to know you more. They say it takes a village to raise a kid in Africa, and that is true. You will leave your kid with me, even if you didn't say, look out for my child, but because you're my neighbor, and I know you're not home, I know this kid, I have to watch out if I'm home. Just with my kids, I'm like, hey, go play with your friend. Or if I'm here, even if I'm not like, okay, I'm with my kids, but I see there's something wrong going with that kid, I'll be like, hey, dude, don't do that. You're not my parents, like, do not tell me that. I'm not your parent, but then I'm older than you, and what you're doing is wrong. How does that affect my music, or how has it affected me as I've been growing up in my careers and everything? We carry that in us. Everyone you meet, you see or you know how to handle them. So many people are mistaken that as Africans we don't have respect for women. I always tell them it depends where you come from, who raised you. I was raised by a queen, I can say. And she taught me how to be a prince or might be a king, I don't know. That I have to treat. If I'm a king, then I should have a queen, and the queen should be treated right. And my mom is a queen. You know, those are discussions we have. We always speak in a very fun way. When you find me and my mother, you think it's a brother and sister. And that happens with the little ones, you know, my little brother, my little sisters. We all speak in a certain way. People think we're like, what is this? Is that the mother? Mother and kids? What are they, sisters or siblings? Just siblings? That's how we are, you know. But at the end of the day, everyone knows what line they don't cross. They know, I am younger, that's our big brother. We do not cross this line. Let us joke like crazy, but when he says this, it has to be done. Let me joke with my mother, but my mother is my mother. When I go home, how do I greet my mom? I kneel down and I greet my mom. Just being that I'm on whatever on televisions and radios, that does not take away that she's not my mom. I'm just a child. When I come, I kneel down and I greet my mother. And I'm happy to do it. They all say that's like backwards or whatever. I'm like, how? What makes you think it is backwards? It's not. That is our culture. It is a sign of respect, you know, to my mother and any elder. When it's a man, yes, we are not kneeling, we always stand, but we have to stand where we stand. You humble yourself and greet them. But for my mother, I'm on my knees and I'm happy, you know. That is the way I was raised. She's a woman, and that means the respect I give her is the same respect I'm going to give to my partner. If I have a woman in my life, that's the same respect that I'm going to give her. And I always tell people, respect is reciprocal, as Mama Angelica Kidjo, she has done with Yemi Alade, that song. It's true, it's reciprocal. Don't expect it to come, it's not one way, you know. So, in all the things, culture, our culture, I always find it beautiful, advanced. To some it might be, they say it's backward, but actually it's very advanced when you look at it. It is only the people who have their own ways, their personal ways of doing things, that they make others, or maybe some things look very bad. Everything I do has an attachment to me, my culture, and I don't know, my roots. They're embedded in me. Some people don't know where I come from. When I speak, they're like, where do you come from? Until I tell them. Some they know, but most of the people, they take time. They're like, where are you from? I'm like, I am from Africa. Which place? I think I do not exactly show whatever they expect. I don't know what is it that they expect. First of all, they spoke in English. I'm not good, you know, that's not my, I'm not strong when it comes to English. That's not like my strongest point when it comes to languages. But I've tried my best to learn, you know, how to speak. And I think what confuses people is that they don't know exactly. You don't sound like Nigerians. You don't sound like, where are you from? And I like it actually. I'm like, well, I'm from Uganda. Oh, okay. And they're like, but you don't behave like this. What do you mean? What's your religion? I'm a Muslim. But you don't behave like Muslims. I'm like, that's an insult. You know. But I do believe culture has a lot to do with our lives. And we shouldn't ignore our cultures. I've seen so many Africans now trying to be so westernized. And they think that's the trend or that's cool. That's the first thing you need to teach the children. Their mother tongue, their culture. We need to be so proud of that. No matter how much the West would say that we are primitive, we are not. As far as I know, we were so modernized before the West came in. If anybody knows the history of Africa, they would understand what I'm talking about. My ways of doing my work starts from how I was raised. My mama could tell you the same thing. She's also very, very clean. Our home, when you go in the village, they say Hajati's home is so clean. When we're there, you wake up in the morning, mama's like, we're going to sweep. You can stay sleeping. I'm like, who told you I'm gonna sleep? Give me a broom. We all go, And they're like, oh, this one there, okay. This. But those are things you don't actually realize. You don't realize that they affect your ways of doing things. And when I sit in the studio, if I'm producing a song or if I'm with my band and we're working on a piece, and I'm always the guy like, okay, let's go. All right, one more take. No, it's not right. Okay, can we do? And I just keep on rolling until everything is gone. It's there. But everything I do up to date in my music, whatever it is I do, it always has a little touch of my culture. I might not be the guy who runs around in African clothes. That has got nothing to do with my culture. Me running in some attires, because I've seen some people like, oh, you think you're African, you're saying you're promoting Africa, but you don't even wear African attires. I'm like, really? Is that what you think? No, that doesn't define me. An outfit does not define my culture. Does not define my cultural values. It is what I do, the actions, everything, that is what would define me. That's what I would say.